Never give up. A belief that can help make your dreams come true or destroy your life. The smartest and most successful people know the difference between effortful persistence and blind stupidity. And I'm sure you want to be like those successful smart people. In this video, we'll talk about when it's actually smart to give up and how. Let's start with when should you start thinking about giving up. First, when you're struggling to achieve something. Imagine yourself as a salesperson who has multiple products and one of these products are not selling. It's just not working. So here you start thinking about giving up on that product and thinking of something else. Another common example is relationships. If you're someone who is in a relationship and this relationship is just not working, that means it's time to start thinking about letting go. Second, if you achieved something or you're on the trajectory to achieve something but you're not happy, you're miserable, you're not happy with the process that is leading you to your dream. Going back to our salesperson example, if you are getting amazing sales from that product but you're not happy with the work that you're doing, it's just consuming your life, you have no time for your family, for your children, and even though you achieved your goal or on the trajectory of achieving your goal, you're not happy with the process. So this is another time you can think about giving up. Third, if something doesn't feel right, doesn't feel good to you, try closing your eyes and think what will happen if you let go. Do you feel better or not? If you feel better, more free, that means it's time to start thinking about letting go. Four, if deep inside there is something that tells you this is not gonna work out, you have to trust your gut feeling and start thinking about the options of giving up on that specific thing. Now, after you start thinking about giving up, what will happen next? First, you will feel reluctant to give up. You've invested so much time, so much effort, so much money sometimes, and you're afraid if you let go now, you would be losing all that effort that you put in. And that is called the sunk cost fallacy. If we take, for example, our salesperson who invested, let's say, $1 million in that product and this product is not working. The salesperson says to themselves, oh my God, I already invested $1 million. I don't want to lose that $1 million that I put in. I have to keep going. But the problem is if you keep going, you might be losing more. So you have to ask yourself, what might I be gaining if I cut my losses now and divert my energy and my money and my investment towards something else that might work better? So if that salesperson invested the rest of their money and the rest of their time in another product that is more likely to succeed, that is better than continuing with a failed product. The same applies to the person in a non-functional relationship. I know you might have invested years of time with that person, but continue to lose more years and effort with that person in a non-functional relationship that's even more lost. Why don't you divert your time and energy to find someone else who you might be happier with? So whenever you think about the investment you made so far, think about the possible gains you might get by letting go now and investing your time and energy in something else. The second thing that will happen when you start thinking about giving up is fear. Fear of the unknown. And for that, you have to have a detailed plan of what will happen next after you give up on something. Here we're not talking about giving up on life or not working. Here we're talking about giving up on something to divert our energy and effort into something else. So the salesperson should not just quit working and not sell anything anymore. They should have a detailed plan of what will happen next once they give up on the failed product. Another thing might happen when you decide on giving up on something is that you might feel down. People might think you're a quitter, or you might tell yourself, I'm not a quitter, I'm not coward, I'm gonna just keep fighting until I achieve my goal. And here you have to realize that your work or your goals do not identify you. If you're an engineer and your whole life dream has been to be an engineer, but now you're miserable being an engineer, it's not wrong to quit engineering and look for another life adventure. Being an engineer does not define you, even if this has been your dream during your whole life. So now the main question is how to decide whether giving up on something or letting go is the right option for me. First, you have to sit with yourself, identify what the problem is, and identify whether it's fixable or not. In the case of the salesperson, what was the problem that the product is not selling? Was it the cost? Was it marketing? Is there something the salesperson can do to improve the sales of that product or not? In the case of the relationship, what is the reason that this relationship is not functioning? Is there anything else you can do to make it work, or you exhausted all options? Second, you have to think of viable alternatives, and that is key when deciding to give up on something. Again, I'm not saying just give up on your work and go and do nothing. You have to sit with yourself and think of all the other options you have to compensate for the thing that you're giving up on. You have to make a big list of the pros and cons of each and how to get there. You have to understand that this might take time. It might take years for you to achieve that viable alternative. In the case of the engineer, if they decide to change their career and pursue something else, they might need years of education before they're able to quit their engineering job and pursue their other passion. So you have to be very realistic about your other options and how you can get there. And third, seek advice. Advice of people who are less invested than you are in that decision. For example, if you decided to quit your job and pursue a totally different career, it might not be best to ask your dad or mom because they are emotionally invested in that decision. You need to ask the advice of more neutral people or even advisors who provide career advising. And only after so much thinking, discussions with many people, identifying your life goals and the viable alternatives, only then you can make the decision of whether it's worth it to keep going or cut your loss and give up. I know that if you're thinking about giving up, this is a very stressful decision to make, but I hope this video gave you some insights to help you with that decision. I want to end up with a quote that kind of summarizes this video, and while letting go can be difficult, it will free up your time, energy and mental space to imagine new possibilities and pursue new opportunities. If you have any additional insights to add them to this video, please drop them in the comments below. And if you find any value in what I discussed, please hit the like button, subscribe to the channel and hit the bell sign so you get notified about future videos on my YouTube channel. Thank you everyone so much for watching and good luck on your decision.